So the CinemaCon footage continues, this time with the Lionsgate panel. Similarly to what I did in the last video, if you saw my video on the Sony panel, this is going to be a completely relaxed video. There's going to be no real editing to this. I'm just going to be going through the news, talking through what Lionsgate discussed in their panel. So the main thing I want to focus on, and I'll start off with this, is all the John Wick stuff. Now, John Wick is probably at this point being positioned as Lionsgate's main big blockbuster franchise at this point. Obviously, it started out as the little movie that could, but it's just blossomed into this huge thing for them. Now, we do have The Ballerina coming out this year, which is the first John Wick spin-off, and while they did show a little bit of footage for that, it seems, the big news coming out is that John Wick 5 is officially happening. A story has been decided, it says, and obviously this is going to be bringing back Chad Stahelski as the director, and Keanu will of course be returning. I mean, I'm not happy really about this, and don't get me wrong, I love the John Wick movies. I love all four of them. They're some of the best action movies that, you know, Hollywood has produced, you know, in the Western world. Truly great stuff. But John Wick 4 was such a good ending to the series, and I really hate this thing of, like, you know, characters just can't die in Hollywood. Like, John Wick died at the end of Chapter 4. We don't need to bring him back again. You know, it's kind of cool because we know he's going to be in The Ballerina. But that's a prequel. It's set in between 3 and 4. So, you know, it's fine if they want to bring him back there for a cameo or a supporting role. But bringing him back for a fifth movie it's just kicking it too far, in my opinion. I just don't think we need to do it. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be decent, but I just don't know where they're going to go with it. Like, how are they going to explain John's survival? And also, if they then want to end it again, how are people going to believe that this is actually the end of the franchise? It's just opening a can of worms that doesn't need to be opened, in my opinion. Like, fair enough if you want to keep doing spin-offs and keep expanding the world of John Wick, but doing a fifth movie, I just don't love it. But we'll have to wait and see what it actually is. But sticking with the world of John Wick, they did have a couple of other announcements, including another spin-off, which we're getting a lot of spin-offs. This one, we have heard about this before, but this is now officially moving forward. We've got a Kane movie, which is the character that Donnie Yen played in Chapter 4. Now, I must say, as far as John Wick spin-offs go, I mean, Donnie Yen is amazing. Love Donnie Yen. I will totally take a movie with him. One of the best action stars we still have today. And it is saying that the film will be stylistically modelled like Yen's previous action film. So they're taking a lot of influence from his work previously, which is pretty cool. I mean, his character was awesome in Chapter 4. He was certainly a highlight. So I'm down to see more of him. I think, as John Wick spin-offs go, I think this could be pretty awesome. And the last thing they announced John Wick related was a animated film, which is going to be a prequel, which is going to explore how John killed all of his rivals in order to escape the High Table. Which could be a cool idea. I can totally envision a very stylistically pleasing John Wick animated film. Like, I definitely think that works. Like, you know, the films in live action are very visually appealing. I imagine in animation it's going to be similar. And they can do some really cool stuff with the action there as well. So there's a lot happening with Lionsgate and John Wick. Like, they're clearly banking on this franchise big time. I mean, I think each film has been bigger than the last one, so we'll have to see how The Ballerina does. That comes out in a couple of months' time, and it looks good, but we'll have to see how it performs, because that might affect these other movies. I mean, I'm sure John Wick 5 will happen regardless, but things like the Kane spin-off and any other spin-offs they have planned might fall to the wayside. Now, moving away from John Wick, another franchise which is making a grand return is the Now You See Me franchise, which I must say, I'm really excited about this. I really like the first two Now You See Me movies. Like, they're kind of guilty pleasures for me. I just really enjoy them. I think they're fun movies. But we knew the third movie was happening. That's coming out this year. And that's now been officially titled Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Which, let's be honest, that's what they should have titled the second film. But now we're getting it with the third film. So that's cool. You know, I'm here for that. Sounds fun. And that's coming out on November the 14th, which, according to a description of a trailer which was shown at CinemaCon, it reveals that the original group has been disbanded and shows Daniel Atlas which is Jesse Eisenberg's character teaming up with the newcomers played by Dominic Sessa, who you may remember from The Holdovers, and Ariana Greenblatt, who you may know from the Barbie movie. So we've got some new cast members, exciting. Old cast members are coming back, like Dave Franco is coming back, Woody Harrelson's coming back, Isla Fisher's coming back, who obviously Isla Fisher wasn't in the second one, so it's pretty cool that she's coming back. And the other big announcement of this franchise is they did announce that Now You See Me 4 is also in the works. So not only are we getting this third movie coming out all these years later, but they're now working on the fourth film as well. I don't know about this fourth movie. You know, I think they're going to have to wait and see how this third one does. Because I don't think the third movie is going to do particularly well. Only because this franchise was never like a big box office hit back in the day. And now, in the kind of very up in the air box office landscape we live in, I don't really know if this is going to be successful. At least not majorly. Unless they're planning this as like a part 1, part 2 situation. We'll have to wait and see. Because they are greenlighting this movie very, very quickly. But as a fan of the franchise, someone who's excited to see it return, I'm down for it. You know, I'm here for it. I think it looks kind of cool. I think it looks cool. I think it looks fun. I'm totally down for it. Now, as we have a quick look, because they're the two main ones. Oh, another thing I did want to talk about. This is interesting because this is something that Lionsgate didn't talk about, and that's Michael, which is the Michael Jackson biopic which we are meant to be getting this year. There was absolutely no talk or no discussion about this film from Lionsgate today, which I think is interesting because this has got to be a big tentpole movie for them. I believe it's currently scheduled for October or around there. Let's double check that, because it's definitely set for this year, but I feel like I'm not sure of the release date. Let me double check. Because it's, you know, they spoke about a lot of things. They spoke about their upcoming slate this year, and then they went on to speak about, you know, what's coming out in the next couple of years. So Michael is currently set for the 3rd of October 2025. But so it's on their 2025 slate, but they have not spoken about it at all today, which I think is strange. I don't know if it's just because they didn't have anything to show for it, or if they are trying to avoid any kind of Michael Jackson related controversy. Or another theory I have seen is that the movie is going to get delayed into 2026, which if that's the case, that would maybe line up as to why they didn't speak about it today. But I'm a little disappointed because I am looking forward to Michael. As someone who was a dancer growing up, I took great inspiration from Michael Jackson, like purely talking about his dancing. He's one of the greatest dancers to ever live. So I'm interested for a Michael Jackson biopic. I'm shocked it's taken us this long to get one. So I'm excited to see more from it and see the footage. Lionsgate just are holding out on us for some reason, so we'll have to wait and see why that is. So yeah, nothing from that movie, which I thought was really surprising. We also have a little quote from Luca Guadagnino, who does confirm that they are actively working on the new American Psycho movie. Talks are currently ongoing for actors for the lead role. It was rumoured a little while ago that Austin Butler was apparently being eyed for this. There's no word on that here. But we knew this movie was happening. Like, we knew Luca Guadagnino was working on a American Psycho remake of sorts. Although apparently this is going to be a lot more in line with the original book than the 2001 movie, which was kind of its own thing. And, you know, Luca is phenomenal. Like, he's absolutely amazing. So I'm sure, like, he's honestly an amazing choice to do this. Not to say that the original film obviously doesn't have its merits, and I think the movie itself is amazing, but for this being like a closer adaptation to the book, I think Luca is going to do an amazing job with that. Just in terms of like the themes he tackles in his movies, I think he's a good fit for it. And then in terms of the lead actor, if it is Austin Butler, which, you know, if you saw me in my last video, I said how much I love Austin Butler and how much I'm loving the projects he's taking on right now. I think he could be a good choice for it. But there's a number of different actors who could work in that role particularly well. And then I think there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yes, that links to the Luca Guadagnino story. I don't know who it was. I can't find the quote right now, but somebody did say that this isn't the last we're going to hear from Luca at CinemaCon, which, if you have been following his career, and his upcoming projects, you will know that he is working on a Sergeant Rock movie for DC and Warner Brothers. So we could take that as indication that we're going to see him, or at least hear something regarding this Sergeant Rock movie at the Warner Brothers presentation, which is later on tonight. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Warner Brothers is set to have a big presence at CinemaCon this year. Obviously, they have got this launch of their new DC universe with Superman. So it seems like we might be getting something Sergeant Rock related from Luca Guadagnino, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's everything really when it comes to the Lionsgate one. A little bit of a slower showcase, a little bit lighter on the news front than what we had from Sony. But Lionsgate aren't like a top tier tentpole studio. They are really leaning on John Wick, it seems, and they did have a couple other cool announcements as well. But yeah, that's it. So anyway, if you want to see more CinemaCon updates, you want to stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to be doing more update videos like this. I will try and do one for Warner Brothers tomorrow. My one for Warner Brothers might not be as up to date as these last two, just because I have got work smack bang in the middle of the day. So that one might be a bit later, but bear with me. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I hope to see you guys again in that next video.